Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is kind of different than anything I've ever done before, but I'm super excited about it. So you guys know that I've done like tutorials, a lot of beginner things here and there, and a lot of you guys have requested to just see like me make a piece from beginning to end. And I decided that today we are going to make a wedding dress in a day. So why am I making a wedding dress if I literally am single? Because why not? Because literally why not? This video is actually partnered with Vivify Textiles, which is super exciting because there is no more perfect partnership that I could possibly have. So Vivify Textiles is a fabric supplier and they have sustainably and ethically produced fabrics, which is obviously what I'm here for. So let me show you guys what I got. I got this beautiful white satin fabric made from recycled polyester. It is so beautiful, so excited to make something with this. And I also got this beautiful chiffon. So we're gonna use both of these to make our wedding dress today. I figured it would just be fun if I just like challenged myself to make it in a day. I've always wondered if I could do it, and I think I can, obviously, if it's simple enough. We're not gonna go too crazy, but I want to challenge myself to it and also show you guys the whole entire process of making something like this from literally design, pattern, to sewing it to final product, because I know I've shown you guys custom orders and other things here and there, but I feel like this is a little more intense. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so as far as design, I've been kind of thinking about different things that I want to do. I know for sure that I want a full circle skirt because those are literally my favorite thing ever, and I just want to do it because why not? So 100% circle skirt. I've been like very back and forth about how I want the top to look, but I think I'm gonna go with something kind of simple. I might do just like a very plunging like neckline kind of deal, and I want to use the chiffon to make like a really pretty bow for the back is kind of what I'm thinking. I was gonna originally use it for sleeves, but then I just realized I didn't want to make anything like strapless or with sleeves or off the shoulder sleeves because I was just feeling the whole like plunging neckline vibe, which wouldn't really work that well with sleeves, I feel like. So I'm gonna put it up here on the screen, what I roughly figured out last night. Obviously it's not a perfect sketch, but we're just going for something very simple, very pretty, classic. I'm going to pattern out the circle skirt, and we're probably going to drape the top part just because, I don't know, it's more fun and satisfying to do that. And it should be relatively simple, I think, to finish up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get this done before sunset so we can go out and take pictures out there, but let's see if we can do this. Alright, so circle skirts are honestly some of my favorite things to make just because they're so easy to pattern out and you don't even really have to make a pattern. I usually do it directly onto the fabric itself just because it's super simple. Obviously it does take up a lot of fabric, but it has a really cool effect at the end. So this is how I go about it. Essentially with a circle skirt, you are literally making a circle, so this is time for that geometry to come in, all those fun equations that you learned in high school that you thought you were never going to use again. So we basically have to find the radius of our waist circumference to be able to figure out what the patterning is going to be up here. Usually the way I do it is I do 2 pieces for the back and then 1 full piece for the front, just because I usually have a back zipper. So that's the way that we're gonna do it. So technically we're gonna do like a quarter, and then a whole half. So starting with the quarter pieces, I usually just do it on like the corner of the fabric itself because it's like already perfectly aligned that way. We have to find our radius to then make our like quarter circle up here, which would be the quarter of the waist. To do so, you're going to take your waist circumference divided by 2 pi, and that will give you your radius. So for me, my waist circumference is 25, so then divide 25 by 2 pi, and I get roughly 3.9. So that is what I'm going to mark out. So essentially you just have to like from the corner mark out 3.9 all the way around until you make like a little circle, half circle, I mean quarter circle kind of moment. And then from there you can measure out how long you want the actual dress to be, which obviously just measure it out on yourself from your waist down to wherever you want it to hit. So I'm going to do roughly like 40 to 43 inches, so it's a little bit longer and I can wear heels with it, is kind of what I'm doing. So that is the general idea of how a circle skirt works, and it's super easy, super simple. Love to do them. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually mark this. serge all of the edges of this. I just like to do that so that it stops it from fraying while I'm sewing it and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start sewing all of the side seams together, and I'm gonna leave the top of the center back a little bit open for the zipper later on. But I'm gonna go ahead and start putting it together so we can actually put it onto the mannequin. You guys can kind of see the full circle skirt come to life already. So now this is where we're at. This is what the full skirt looks like. Obviously, if you actually like pull it out and stuff, it is super big, but I don't have like a ton of layers, so it's not gonna be like poofy necessarily, but it's gonna be really nice when you're like walking around and stuff. Obviously, I also need to iron it out, which I will, but this is what it roughly looks like. Here is the back so far. I find that it usually always ends up like stretching out in some sort of way and you're gonna have to take it in, but yeah, that's just what happens when you're cutting on bias anyway. So we'll fix that up, but this is where we're at. Time to move on to the top. All right, so moving on to the top, I'm gonna go ahead and drape it in muslin first, and then I'm gonna transfer that onto the actual fabric. Usually when I drape, if it's something symmetrical, I only do one side, so I'll do one side on the front, one side on the back, and then you can just use that to make the other side. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. I'm kind of just gonna play around with it. I really love draping because I get to just play around with the fabric a little bit more and kind of just visualize how things are gonna look. So let's get into it. So I have it fully draped. So here is the front. It's just like a basic front with a dart here. I think I might actually take it in a little bit more so that it's a little bit more open here and have it just meet down here. And then here is the back. It's gonna be a nice V back, which is gonna be really cute. So yeah, pretty simple look that we're going for, but I think it's gonna be so beautiful and just like very elegant, which is definitely the vibe we're going for. So I'm going to go ahead and actually cut this out in our actual fabric, and then we'll start putting it all together. Pieces cut out, serged, all the darts sewn, and I have it all ironed out now too. So I ended up cutting out 2 of each so that it could be like the lining and the actual like front facing fabric. It just makes the finishings look a lot nicer, and obviously since it's white it makes it a little bit more opaque. So that's what I've got going on so far. This is the top pieces and then these are the back pieces. So I'm gonna start putting them together. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put together just like the front and back and then the other front and back and then put those 2 together, and then I'll attach it to the skirt and then we'll put in the zipper and continue from there. But I'm gonna start attaching this together and get it all put together. done and put together. So I'm attaching it to the skirt currently. I went ahead and fixed the skirt to actually fit me since it's stretched out a bit. So I'm now gonna attach this to it, and then we'll put in the zipper. I only have a regular zipper. I don't want to go out and buy one, but I had one. I would usually opt for an invisible, but you know what? We're gonna go for the regular one today, and that's gonna be fine because I literally have a bow to cover it in the back anyway, so I don't think it's gonna be too bad anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and pin this all together and then sew it. I'm gonna sew the first layer first and then leave the lining out and then fold it in nicely so that it's nicely finished on the inside, just, you know, for funsies, since nobody's actually gonna see the inside of this. But that's what we're gonna do, and we'll low-key be really close to finishing, which is kind of wild, but very excited. So let's sew this. Okay, so I basically finished the dress. I got the zipper in, I finished the lining on the inside, and did the hem. So this is what it looks like. It doesn't fit my mannequin super well because I'm like the tiniest bit smaller, so it doesn't actually like zip up perfectly, but this is roughly what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bow part of it. So I'm thinking of doing it in 3 separate parts because the one strip alone is too short and I kind of want it to drag a little bit. So I'm gonna do 3 little parts of it, so do like a front piece and then 2 long back pieces for it to like tie into like a bigger bow kind of deal. So that is what we're gonna do, and then we are gonna be done, which is super exciting. And yeah, then I'll try it on for you guys, but let's do this little bow. Video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process of making this dress from beginning to end. I know that you guys always ask for this, so hopefully this was helpful in just showing you just like a very simple dress. I think that sewing big dresses like this sometimes looks very intimidating, but reality is they're actually really simple to make and super quick to make too. So hopefully that gives you some sort of motivation or encouragement if you are wanting to, like, I don't know, make your prom dress at some point, or just like make something a little more extra like this. Obviously it's always more costly because it does take up more fabric, but at the end of the day it's still pretty simple to make and the results are really beautiful. And a special thank you you to Vivify Textiles for partnering with me on this video. I obviously love to support other sustainable and ethical brands, and especially within the fashion industry, finding sustainable fabrics can sometimes be a struggle. And even more than that, ethical fabrics are really hard to find because in my experience, it's been difficult to find the actual process and how things are made within different fabric companies, but Vivify is super transparent about everything in their process, which I really appreciate, and having calls with them really made me feel 100% sure that I wanted to partner with them and that we definitely met up on our values, which is obviously super important to me, and I know it's super important to you guys too. So definitely check them out. I will have them linked down below, and I'll have the 2 fabrics that I use specifically linked down below as well for you guys. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!